Oh man, Bitcoin bounces 2.43% after yesterday. One of the worst days in crypto, but the price didn't seem to respond. Why is that? Is this the calm before the storm? Is this the market trying to digest what is going on? Or is it not quite as bad as people are portraying? We're going to break that down and a lot more. Smash them likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Guys, look, yesterday we had CZ stepping down from the Binance, right? The biggest exchange globally. And you would have thought that that would have at least led to some pain in the market yesterday. But if you look here on Bitcoin, we continue to hold our broadening rising wedge here, which, by the way, is still a bearish pattern. But we're going to break down what this could mean. And yesterday, yes, it was a down day, but we were down 4.6%. We've seen crazier days than that. I mean, if you just go a couple of days ago, you had 4.6% on a random Thursday on the 16th of November. So when you're looking at this now with the market recovering 2.4%, is this the final relief before a bigger pullback and bigger pain to the downside? We're going to analyze that and a lot more. Now, first and foremost, let's break this down into technical, and then let's break it down into fundamental and macro, and then we can marry them together to hopefully get some semblance of what's going on in this market. Now, if we're starting from a technical perspective, if you guys watch my videos from just 2 days ago, I said we were in this rising, broadening wedge here. And normally, these are bearish patterns. 80% of the time, these break to the downside. And I said that when we were sitting about here on the price action and you saw us start to work our way back to the downside. But then on top of that, you had the news around CZ having to step down from Binance, okay? And the fact that there's a $4 billion fine for Binance. CZ has to pay a personal fine for $50 million and he can have no ongoing involvement for the next 3 years. And that drove us down here to wick here below the support line. But look at the response today. Look at the last few 4-hourly candles here bouncing us here from the purple line. Are we going to be able to navigate our way around here and work our way back to the top of the channel? Or is it going to play out the way where we break down, retest, and continue our way to the downside? Now, if we were going to break this pattern, and we were going to lose this pattern and lose particularly that horizontal support, which is sitting at 36.1, that green line I've got drawn there. If we were to lose that level, then what I would say is that the price target from the bottom of the wedge, which is the breakdown pattern, okay, that's the measured move from this type of pattern, would start to come into play. And that would bring you down to that 33,000 to 33,500 level on Bitcoin. So it's a significant pullback, right? We could see here a flush down from where we're at now, down to the bottom of the wedge. You're talking about a 9% dump here on Bitcoin if we're to pull back. Now, again, from a technical level, this 80% of the time does break to the downside, but it can break to the upside too, just far, far rarer. And we've got to manage our probabilities as investors and traders. So right now, by no means am I chasing green candles. By no means am I FOMOing into this market, nor am I particularly panicked, right? I'm just waiting to see, do we lose this key level here? If we lose that key level in that area, let's just draw that area out for you guys. Here, this line here, if we lose this level at 36.1, at that point, I start to get ready for lower price points, right? And lower price points can bring you all the way down to these kinds of levels at 33,000 to 33.5. Now, if you marry that on top, the fact that we've got what's going on with Binance, you can understand why the market is fearful. But then, is it actually fearful? Is the market actually fearful? Or are we starting to see some excitement? Because I think what some of the market is deciding to, how they decided to take the news from yesterday is in a positive manner. They're deciding to look at it as the coming of age of Binance, which is a very interesting take. It's a take which I covered off yesterday on the live stream as well when the news broke. And this is to suggest that when you have the formation of a company, whether it's Tesla, whether it's, many other companies, you have a growth phase. You have a growth phase where you need the innovator of the company to be reckless, to move fast, to break things, right? And that's what gets you adoption. You're not going to get adoption in a crazy industry like crypto when everybody's trying to shut you down, being Mr. Polite sat there in the corner, right? It's just not going to work. You're not going to get the momentum that you need, and crypto wouldn't be where it is today. That being said, you cannot have somebody without compliance experience, somebody who's trying to move fast and break things when you're running a multi-billion-dollar, the biggest exchange in the world. You need somebody with compliance. So this happens at a perfectly natural time here for Binance, that CZ is to step down, Richard Teng, who is head of their compliance side, who has 30 years of experience in this type of a role, gets to step in for the mature phase for Binance, right? The mature phase where we know the BlackRocks are coming in, when we know the Fidelities are coming in, when we're expecting a spot ETF to become approved. You do not want somebody to head the exchange that's looking to 10x or 100x. You just want Binance to exist in one form or the other, and you just want it to grow steadily over time, right? That's all the market needs. What the market cannot afford is for Binance to collapse. That is the single big black swan event. And so it seems like the market is almost taking this as a really positive step. Now, hang on. Binance, they were investigated, CZ was investigated, and the main thing they've come out with is finding CZ. He has to step down. It brings in a more regulatory friendly Richard Teng at the helm of Binance, but also it's shown that, oh no, there's nothing about commingling of funds. There was nothing about the proof of reserves not being there. They can even afford a $4 billion fine, mind you, as well, which just goes to reaffirm the strength of Binance, goes to reaffirm the fact that they were operating in a sensible way compared to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, and that reassures markets because that black swan was always hanging over our head. We always had that little bit of a doubt that, okay, what if Binance were insolvent? What if Binance didn't have the proof? What if they didn't have the reserves? But now that they've been investigated at that level and we're not hearing rumors around those kinds of things, it gets everybody feeling a little bit confident that maybe that black swan event, that scary event, starts to park itself. Now, of course, we do have another black swan event that can happen in crypto, and I've always mentioned that one is Binance and the other one is USDT, which is Tether. So those are the two things which constantly tended to kind of circulate in the head of crypto investors in terms of what could collapse the market. Now, the other side of the argument is, this is a big plan by the US to make sure that they can take care of crypto. And that's my view of this. My whole view of this is that this was a coordinated, orchestrated attack by Gary Gensler, by the powers that be in the US, to make sure that they can control crypto. Like I said, they will never turn the traffic light green for any innovation until they figured how to, one, control it, and two, get the lion's share of that pie, okay? And clearly they think that they know how they're going to do that, and this is part of their game plan to do that. Make sure that they wound Binance, the fastest growing exchange. Make sure they favor somebody like Coinbase, which, remember, BlackRock, Fidelity, these guys are invested in Coinbase because it's a NASDAQ listed company. Get BlackRock to have their ETF approved with a lot of the other traditional finance guys, and then the institutional money gets the thumbs up saying, come on, institutional guys, we've cleared the road here, we got control of everything here, come on in now, this is our land, right? That's their game plan. So look, there's a few pros and there's a few cons. Ultimately, at some point, crypto had to go through this phase, right? Crypto had to go through this phase where you're seeking. You hear everybody on YouTube videos and in the community say, we want institutional adoption, we want mass adoption, everybody needs to come to crypto. Well, guess what? In order to get that, you're going to get regulation. You're going to get these big boys playing games, moving their chess pieces on the chessboard, no different to traditional finance, and it's going to be exactly the same in crypto. So markets sitting here today are taking it in a little bit of a positive manner, but that being said, I need you guys to be very, very careful. You can see here, if you look at this line chart, what are we forming? We're forming a big head and shoulders pattern, right? Let me show you this on the daily. It's a little bit more visible on the daily chart. You can see here, you've got a left shoulder, right head, right shoulder, but then it bounced. It bounced from the neckline, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're out of the woods, right? You can still coil down and break to the downside here on this reversal pattern. So that's one for you guys to watch out for here on the short term, is that head and shoulders pattern starting to play out. The other thing to worry about here is the dollar index. We are seeing the dollar index kind of just notch up a little bit today. Had a good doji candle yesterday, reversing the pain to the downside, and today clawing back a little bit here to start off the day. If we check out traditional markets to see where they're at today, we can get a good idea. And slightly green there, nothing too crazy here on the pre-market, but that's exactly one of the reasons why I don't quite trust this pump here on Bitcoin. I think 2.5%, while the dollar index is climbing, just doesn't seem to stack up a little bit. So for me personally, I'm waiting to see, are we going to come down? Are we going to retest, some of these more critical lines at 36.1 before we get out of the woods here? Are we going to come do something like this? And if we lose that level, then I'm going to set myself some lower price targets, even all the way down to 33,000. Now, long term, does that mean that's a big problem? No. In fact, what this has reaffirmed to me this whole 24 hours is that this market is incredibly bullish. And for that reason, I want to be nibbling on these dips, because when the market is like this, when the market is so strong and powerful, any pullback tends to be temporary, tends to be quick, tends to be painful, but ultimately tends to be quite temporary because people jump in to buy the dip. And so yes, I'm looking out for 33, maybe 34,000. Yes, I'll be looking to buy the dip, but we got to zoom out sometimes. We got to zoom out and look at where we're at and just go, hang on a second. This is where we're at on this move. With Binance, with CZ stepping down and resigning, we did not even lose our daily EMA ribbon, guys. I mean, that is how extended this move is. We had such a big move here to the upside, consolidated here an upward trend, had a bit of volatility over the last 10 or so days, but we're still above our EMA ribbon and today bouncing from that EMA ribbon. So for me, we've not even had our healthy pullback. Forget CZ and what's going on. We've not even had our normal routine pullback. A normal routine pullback would bring you down to these levels into the EMA ribbon, which guess what? The bottom of the EMA ribbon comes in at that 33.2 level, which coincides exactly with the bottom of that wedge too. So it all seems to work nicely here for me. I'm happy anywhere in this EMA ribbon for it to cool off before us getting ready to buy the dip, because I expect a lot of buy pressure coming in from these levels to the upside as we come into our EMA ribbon. Now, let's say you're even more bearish. Let's say, no, you don't even think that it could be even worse. Then okay, let's take a look at the weekly chart just to kind of remind you guys of how strong the price action here is on Bitcoin. That's the weekly chart. And look how far extended we are from the EMA ribbon. Very, very powerful. Since having our move here to the upside, we have not even retested these key levels. Remember how hard it was to break through here, through 31 and then 32? We've not even come back to retest 32 or 31. And that's perfectly healthy. If it wants to come down, touch here, boom, before climbing to the upside, perfectly normal. EMA ribbon comes in around that 30.8 level as well. And you could even get down to 28.7 here on Bitcoin, which sounds crazy. 28.7 here on Bitcoin, and you're still in a bullish upward trend here on the weekly chart. So for those of you panicking and getting a little bit worried, guys, we're not even testing the depths of our daily EMA ribbon, let alone working our way here to the weekly EMA ribbon. If we did see a fall down to here, I would count my blessings. I would love to buy at 30 some more. I'd love to buy at 29 some more. And of course, 28.5. I mean, I would be gobbling as much up as possible if we did come down to those levels. So there you have it, guys. Bitcoin looking strong despite a very critical moment in crypto's history with one of our key founding innovators, CZ, the founder and CEO of Binance, stepping down, and a new CEO, Richard Teng, stepping in. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this market. If you guys want to trade with us, if you want to be part of our trading community, Ijaz.UK/TG is our Telegram group, which you're not going to want to miss. See you guys over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.